Hey guys, this one's going to be a little bit different. Typically, I'm always in front of camera. This is something I was just kind of experimenting with over a weekend and thinking about some of the original feelings I had about filmmaking in general, and just wanted to kind of see what got me excited in the first place and kind of bring us back a little bit before we're kind of all jumping onto the next thing, but just slow it down a little bit today. So let's get into it. So years ago, I really got heavily into kind of filmmaking. So I've always wanted to create film in a really cinematic way, right? Not just being a content creator or anything else. And I think a lot of us kind of got into that and that excitement level when you can pick up something like a 5D and kind of blur the focus out. That was like a big deal. Everything felt cinematic. And then from that point on, kind of things ran. But years before that, I got a chance to shoot on film cameras and kind of more of a camcorder style, ENG style cameras. And that was kind of like an exciting moment when it turned over and we can actually not have to go rent or have to kind of be on set to use these big cameras, but bring them home and really experiment and shoot short films and do all those things. And those times are really exciting. I look back and I think about those moments and that excitement and kind of like what happened since then, right? So getting into this gear acquisition and having all these new cameras and new sensors and dynamic range, and we're getting really caught up in that moment of it. But the truth is, it really comes down to that storytelling. I think where the balance now is 80% on gear and 20%, if that, on storytelling. So I wanted to kind of walk through that. And I'm shooting this with the older A7 III. I have the new FX3, and I use an Ursa on commercial projects and Red. And RE if we need to, and the budget allows. So an Alexa Mini is typically what we'll do if the budget allows it, and obviously it goes beyond a certain budget. But for most projects that are smaller, or if it's like talking heads, A7 III still does it, FX3 will do it, and you can even bring that more in a commercial set. But again, it's something about that, the kind of vintage filmmaking where you're taking the time to kind of shoot stuff, and kind of brought back some of these old FD lenses, which are in today's market on eBay anywhere from $20 to $100, and there's something about those lenses and the light and how it refracts and reflects some of the light when you use light with it, and it's insane. They're not ideal for a production environment where you're having to use adapters and all that, but if you really have a minute to kind of experiment, they're really phenomenal lenses. It's literally like going back in time with them, and there's something exciting about it, and that there's not much that you need to do with them to give them that really filmic look without having to put much effort into it. And again, I wanted to test it on an older camera that's an 8-bit camera, and see what comes out of that. And just shooting a little bit of light towards those lenses, whether it's a 50 millimeter old Canon SCC lens, or it's a zoom lens that I'm using, which is an 80 to 200. There's something about them compared to some of these new kind of, I would just call them generic, right? They're like clinically clean. They have autofocus, but the character's just not there, and you have to kind of add so much to it to get it to be close to this. And for the price, it's just insane, the image you get. And if it's right for obviously that storytelling, then it's something that I want to kind of start using a little bit more. Obviously not for everything, but for certain scenarios, which I think really plays well with these vintage lenses. There's something about that coating, just, and they're really fast lenses for the price. And even some of the cinema lenses that I have, they do have character and they do reflect that light or give you that kind of something about the way the lens is compared to the newer lenses that just don't do that, right? So it's like all the tricks of the trade of backlighting and pushing light towards the lens to give you that softer look don't really work with like these newer clinically clean lenses, which is really important. And it's something that I think we're all striving to do, but there are really easy ways to do that. So if you're pushing light into lenses that kind of work well with that, you're going to get an instant look without having to put a ton of LUTs on it and adding effects and everything else. It's all in camera. So, changing the LUT on here, I shot it with the old A7 III in S-Log2, and then just, put some light towards the lens, and, you get this really soft, kind of beautiful image, which is nice. It's not, like I said, clinically super sharp or anything like that, but it does have that soft feel, which I've noticed with newer lenses I'm pushing backwards to kind of match that. Again, depending on the project, if they're looking for something super sharp and clean, then that's what we'll use. But just wanted to kind of rant a little bit about, all this that's going on with everyone waiting for something new and new cameras. We forget a lot about the lenses and the lens choices and kind of just the experimentation part of what we do that makes it different. And again, it's been done many times before, and if you go on bigger sets, they're using techniques they've used for 50 years with light, but you need the proper lens to be able to kind of pull that off. It's really hard to do that outside of post, and not practically today with these types of lenses, especially inexpensive ones. So yeah, just throwing it out there. Wanted to get kind of like your feedback on it, and do you agree, disagree, and is it kind of a good way to kind of get inspired again by getting some really inexpensive lenses for these really great sensors that give us so much, but in a way we're working backwards to dull it down, which is crazy. So anyway, really great to just put out a video, see what happens, just get your thoughts a little bit about it, and appreciate the time. And if you can follow, like, subscribe, hit that bell, hopefully we'll make some more content. So thanks again, guys, for watching, and I will see you on the next one.